Mike, what's the worst thing you saw today?
New York football. Both teams, they combined for 16 points in 8 quarters of professional football. It's an embarrassment.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Top Shelf Tuesday edition, Week 16 of the NFL, Segment 1, Best, Worst, and Most Surprising Things we saw today. Segment 2, the Atlanta Falcons made a move for the better. There's still no Kirk Cousins slander, but we'll talk about it. And in Segment 3, we will do things just for entertainment purposes only. But first, joining us today, academic and athletic consultant of the CK Save Project, George Acker. George, what was the best thing you saw today, sir?
Um, a couple things. We talked real quick earlier about the New England Patriots and them look like they're coming together. Um, you got the Atlanta Falcons, which is low hanging fruit there, but yeah, why didn't they try this earlier? And then I gotta just keep going. I gotta keep rocking with them. I've said it before. We'll go back again, but somehow, some way, these Minnesota Vikings continue to keep showing up. They have. I am a believer now. I'm going to go ahead. I'm a Sam Darnold believer. I am a believer in that offense, and they're not somebody that anybody really wants to see. So, yeah, that's we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that order right there.
All right. And teacher of the month every month, Mike Connors. Mike, what's the best thing you saw today?
I'm going to change things up a little bit and not go with a game performance. I'm going to go with the best thing that I saw today was the Cowboys being eliminated from the playoffs already.
Really, Mike? Really?
As we all know,
Okay.
I am a Giants fan.
Okay.
And New York fan, and I have nothing else to root for. We have so little to be happy about.
Wow.
So I'm just going to go out there and say that Jerry and the boys will be going home and golfing early, and that just makes my heart tingle.
Keith, I thought we didn't have any slander on this. On this
My
show,
goodness,
but
Mike! Even Mike King wouldn't have hit that one.
Yeah, wow. Okay. All right, Connors. All right.
And I'm going to jump in. The best thing I saw was Jaden Daniels, man. This kid is special. Now, again, we'll talk about the Eagles, I'm sure. But in terms of just George and just picking right, they picked right. And when you take the time to evaluate, scout, and do all the things you're supposed to do, good things tend to happen more than not. And that was just a good pick for that franchise.
It was. Unlike a franchise like the Giants, they do their job when it comes to picking a quarterback. So they scouted well and did correctly with that.
Yes. All right. So, Mike, what's the worst thing you saw today?
New York football. Both teams, they combined for 16 points in 8 quarters of professional football. It's an embarrassment. That's all.
Okay. George, what's the worst thing you saw today, man?
They need. I hope there is a large number of counselors and therapists in the great city of Cleveland. Because if you live and die with the Cleveland Browns, you're a wit's end. You're gonna need to talk to somebody because this thing is atrocious. I mean, I would have gone with New York if I hadn't watched that inept thing they called offense that took place in Cleveland today. It was horrible. I mean, Georgia college football could have beat them today. So I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that right there.
All right. So I got to jump in on this. The worst thing I saw today was Kenny Pickett. Okay. I'm sitting here with the family. They're enjoying the Commanders game. They're enjoying several beverages that I was trying to hide for myself, but that's okay. And Jalen Hurts got hurt. And point five is with me, the greatest intern ever, sarcastically speaking. And I said, "Is that Kenny Pickett going in?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, goodness. What's the score?" 14-0. So, Mike, he got spotted 14 points. Saquon Barkley is running all over the Commanders' defense. All he's got to do is not break anything. And on his first drive, he throws a pick, and that just sets off a series of just ridiculousness. Now, late in the game, Saquon dropped something that he should have caught, and Devontae Smith, that was just bad. But Kenny, this is not how you keep a job. So that was the worst thing I saw. George, what's the most surprising thing you saw, sir?
Atlanta Falcons. Why didn't they put that boy in earlier? Why waste time with Kirk Cousins? I don't know. This is my thing. Why wait 6 weeks or 4 weeks? It was like between 4 and 6 weeks of Kirk Cousins stinking up the joint before you decide to make a change. Why? The kid should have been playing. So that's my big thing. Why did the Atlanta Falcons wait so long? They wouldn't be fighting for a playoff spot right now. They would have been in first place like we had picked them if they decided to get rid of go away from Kirk. Sorry, but that's it.
Connors, what's the most surprising thing you saw today?
There was a couple things I was looking at. At first, I was thinking Atlanta with the quarterback change, but they played the Giants, who have nobody. The quarterback's rating was 73. He didn't do a whole lot. And I mean, Kirk Cousins is getting bashed, but he's passed for 500 yards already this season. I mean, he's not a bum. He's having a downward swing. I was going to say the Commanders comeback, but then I'm going to go with Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. His resurgence has been great. This young man is showing some fortitude. We've talked about him a lot this year when he got benched. Was he too small? Was he too frail? Is it the organization? Is it the system? Is it the coach? This kid is showing that he should have been a top pick. Okay. He went out today. He threw for 158, not spectacular, ran for about 70, and had a 107.5 QBR for the day. That's a good day. And leading an overtime win. A couple games earlier this year, he led some charges at the end to get an early lead. A late lead, and the defense couldn't hold on to it, and they ended up losing in overtime. This kid's got some resilience and is a ball player.
Hey, and for me, it's my fault because I do things strictly for entertainment purposes only. I was surprised that the Arizona Cardinals did not play with the level of urgency needed for a team competing for a final playoff spot. And if I'm not mistaken, they were eliminated. So I thought moving forward, they're going to battle every week, but they kind of just let the whole world down. So I was surprised they didn't play better. Nice finish at the end, had a chance to win, and you didn't get the job done, as we say in 80s wrestling. So,
hey, before we go, can we just give a shout out to what Mike said? How Jaden has come back in and he's picked up the level of play for that entire team. That was a train wreck of a situation down there, and they have now started to become. They picked it up all over the field, defensive wise. They got stops when they needed to right there at the end. Got the ball back in overtime. They're playing a whole lot better. So. Wonders what a quarterback can do. Wonders what a group play by a quarterback can do 14.
All right. So, fans, in segment 2, we will break down the Atlanta Falcons situation in terms of Michael Penix. And again, no slander on Kirk Cousins. We'll be very professional because that guy has stolen a lot of money without a gun. We'll be right back. Yeah, Coach's Podcast.
This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, my personal journey to academic and athletic success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful antidotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasaveproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. I can't say it's been a slice of heaven because it hasn't, said Bugs Bunny on many a cartoon. So Michael Penix Jr. is the new starting quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, and Kirk Cousins is not only headed to the bench, but he's headed out the door before they have to pay him extra money. Not that, he hasn't taken a lot of money from people already. So if you recall, fellas, the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins, who was coming off a torn right Achilles injury, to a 4-year, $180 million contract in the offseason with about $100 million guaranteed, though most of the money comes off the books by 2026. So the Falcons will pay Cousins $62.5 million this season.
God.
So whether you play or not, we're all winners. Michael Penix is 24, and he led the Washington Huskies to the national championship game last year. And the Falcons selected him 8. And if you're a longtime listener to the show, some of us liked the deal, some of us didn't. But Atlanta was saying, since they're going to be good, they're never going to be this bad again to get this good of a quarterback. So that's why they signed him. So Kirk Cousins has not played well this season. Quite frankly, he has underperformed on the field because there's no slander on my end. Michael Penix was a highly graded quarterback, and he seems to be ready to play. So, George, you are part of the draft shows. We went through this piece. I want to give you the first dibs. What are we thinking about with the Falcons? This the move? Should we have made the move sooner? Again, be nice to Kirk Cousins because that's a lot of money he's got in the pocket.
No, I'm not. He's just a very smart hustler. I thought going into the draft, Penix was. I don't think I really agreed with the move. I didn't know. I was concerned about the strength of Penix's arm, and a couple other things. But way the season went and the way Kirk was performing, I thought the move should have happened earlier. I think that at this point in time, it could have, that turnaround. I would have done it earlier just so I could see where we are, and get him accustomed, and get him accustomed to the offense, get things moving, get guys used to it. So either we're going to do one of two things, because one of two things is going to happen for Atlanta now. Either they're going to put some space between them and get to the it's going to be a dogfight between them and Tampa Bay, and they've led themselves to that. So either it's that thing is going to get closer, and they're going to get closer to winning the division, or it's going to be a downturn and they're going to start falling to the bottom. But you weren't losing anything because Kirk wasn't winning any games for you, and his performances were just all around bad. I mean, just horrible. He was costing you games. So, like 5 interceptions, I think, in that last game he had. So he was just costing you games. So you had there was no anywhere else to go. So it's a good thing that they made the decision when they did. I would have done it earlier. So we're going to see what Penix has, and they got to find out what they have with Michael Penix. And I think that's what they're figuring out now.
All right, Connors, what do you think, man? Because, again, the Atlanta Falcons, they had a lot of things set up for them, and they finished the season Commanders, Panthers. So what do you think about the move they made?
I was kind of surprised by it. I know Cousins hasn't been having the greatest year, but Penix being a rookie, I thought they brought him into a great situation. He played for the national championship with Washington. He had an established veteran in Cousins to learn from. And Cousins, as we've said before, could be the most opportunistic quarterback in history. The man just hits the numbers when he needs to and gets paid. I mean, that makes him the smartest man in the room in my book. But, he has had some good games. He has not been as good as he has been in the past. So I can't fault them. They didn't throw the kid in week 2, Penix. I hate to see them throw in, like we talked about with a couple of the other quarterbacks that were rookies this year being thrown in too early and not ready. He's learned the system. They are not playing the best teams out there, finishing with the Giants and then the next 2 games, like you just said. So it's good opportunities for him to be successful against bad teams. It's not like they're throwing him out there against Buffalo or anybody like that who's got an outstanding defense, where he's going to get beat up. So, they got to make a move to try to make a push for the playoffs. I mean, they are right now a half a game behind Tampa Bay in the NFC South. So, I mean, they're right there with a weak schedule to finish up. And if he can get them a couple of wins down the stretch, who knows what could happen with them.
All right. So, yes, they are in contention. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers play right after we tape this show. But again, George, I'm with you. I might not have benched Kirk Cousins, but I would have got Penix some minutes in or some plays in while they were struggling with some of the games they were going to lose or something. Because when you look at it, they're 7-3 against the NFC. That's a quality team, and their point differential, they've only scored 327 points this year. So there was opportunities to get this kid some snaps and some reps. Now you got a primetime game. Washington Commanders, they're on fire right now. This whole town's buzzing. Heck, man, they've got bipartisan support to rebuild at RFK. So, George, do you think this is a little too late for the Falcons, especially going into that national television game with the Commanders next week?
What choice did they have? I mean, what choice were you going to roll Kirk Cousins and his shattered ego back out here again? His deep pockets and shattered ego out here again to throw 5 interceptions? You had no choice. They backed themselves in the corner. I would have felt. That's why I said I would have. Penix would have saw the field before this, because you never know what was going to happen. And for me, if I was there, he would have seen the field before this, because you never know what was going to happen. Unless Kirk stayed on fire, we were going to find time to get him in, because you run into this scenario. Now you're at a point where you have no choice. Penix has to play. If you don't, you're just going, and you're going to rest your luck on Kirk's fragile ego and his deep pockets right now. It's going to be a problem, and you're not going to move on. So it is what they've created, the scenario. They got to deal with it.
Mike, I want to close that with you. You saw the Giants play the Falcons today, correct?
Yes, sir.
How did he look in your eyes? How did Michael Penix look?
He looked like a rookie quarterback. I mean, did he make some bad decisions? Yes. Did he make some good plays? Yes, because he played big-time football and he's a professional athlete. But like I said before, he had a 75 quarterback rating, okay? He didn't look great. He threw no touchdowns. He threw 1 pick. Not a great day, but not a horrible day. He got the W, and that's what they're bringing him in to do. I don't think they expected him with their game plan to come in and throw for 500 yards, okay? I think they wanted him to manage the game, take some shots here and there, and that's what he did. And the Giants have a soft defense. Their best player, Dexter Lawrence, is out, so they don't have a great rush, okay? Atlanta's line played decently. So they had nothing to lose. And like we said before, Kirk Cousins sat back. He was into the game. They showed him applauding what was going on. And if he's smart, he'll do like Ed Algeron did down in LSU when they fired him and brought in O'Leary or whatever his name is. We gave him millions of dollars. He said, thanks for the job. What door do you want me to go out? Because he got paid.
I was worried there when you went with that comparison. I thought you were going to talk about the co-ed in the hot tub.
All right.
So, no.
When we get back in segment 3, we will talk about things that are strictly for entertainment purposes only. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Safe Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Safe Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasafeproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Safe Project today.
All right. Welcome back to the Our Coaches Podcast. In segment 3, let's get to our OCP top 5. Take it away, Mike Connors.
All right, here's who I got this week for the top 5. In the top spot, the King is back, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, Detroit Lions. Number 3, Georgia's favorite Minnesota Vikings. Number 4, Buffalo Bills. And number 5, I'm putting the Ravens in there because I'm not being nice anymore. I hate the Eagles, and I'm not putting them in there. I'm glad the Cowboys are out, and I hate Philly.
Okay.
Merry
George,
Christmas.
Any complaints? Any whatever?
No, because you know what? I think that the Ravens earned their spot this week by beating the Steelers, and it was not just a beat; it was a complete beating. It wasn't on a little last second field goal. No, they just out physical them took care. So I gotta Connors gets thumbs up from me on this one.
Yeah, the Ravens are really doing a good job of peaking at the right time. You guys all know that I'm a wrestling guy. One of the best coaches I've ever seen, Cael Sanderson. He says, I don't care if my guys win or lose in December or need to take time off. I want them ready in March when we hit the NCAA tournament. And that's what it seems like the Ravens are doing. They're starting to hit all cylinders at the end and be ready to rock and roll by the time they get into the playoffs and not have blown everything off in September or October.
Yeah, and it really looks like they're catching steam, and they might actually win that division.
Yeah, they're getting serious momentum.
And I will, all the haters that I talked about earlier about Russell Wilson. Hey, look, Russell Wilson, hey, he's doing a great job in Pittsburgh. I gotta give him he's doing a great job. That's a tough division, man.
Tomlin just wins. He is amazing. Yeah. He just wins.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of both of those, my season-long picks, Baltimore, I have them over 10.5, and they're at 10 wins. Next win, I go to the pay window, and I already picked Pittsburgh. They already won for me. AFC South, Jacksonville let me down, but Tennessee stunk just enough for me to win. AFC East, Miami is not going to get to 10 wins, so hey, good luck to you the rest of the season. I already got my money. Buffalo was taking care of business. Denver got me, but the Raiders didn't, so I'm good with that. Detroit is like the spirit of 76, man. That whole picture with battered, bruised, and they still beat people up. Go ahead. And Green Bay next win gets it in, so let's go ahead and handle that. Now, NFC South, I got Atlanta over 9.5. They've got 8 wins with 2 games left. Can they go 2-0? We'll find out. And I got Carolina over 5.5. They've got 4 wins with 2 games left. So I'll be watching them for all the wrong reasons. Washington, good win. We've already won with them. And yes, Connors, I picked Dallas over 9.5. And we lost that a long time ago. The Rams finally got that last win. So they are over 8.5. They won 9. And Arizona is still at 7. Next win takes me over, but I'm at a push right now. In terms of the regular Super 7 bets, last week I was 4-3. This week I was not. I was 3-4. Game of the week was the Eagles Commanders. Eagles minus 3.5, and they let me down along with an entire city. 2-play was the Rams minus 3.5. Arizona minus 4.5. They let me down. 3-play, I got the win. Minnesota minus 3. Indy minus 3.5, and Minnesota push, and the Raiders got me minus 2.5. So I'll get something instead of nothing. 4-play, I have not done well with them. These are the games you're supposed to just win outright. Cincy took care of business. Atlanta took care of business. Buffalo took care of business, but Arizona couldn't. I had the over with Jacksonville and Las Vegas. That didn't hit. I did have the under with the Giants in Atlanta, 42.5, and I think they scored 41. And my upset was Miami over San Francisco. And Fowler had already told me he was not coming on tonight because of a family engagement, George. Family engagement.
Yeah, 49ers were eliminated. Family engagement.
Yeah. Nice seeing you, Fowler Campbell.
Next week's games of interest. 1, why are y'all playing on Christmas? You got Kansas City versus Pittsburgh. Great game on Netflix. And Baltimore versus Houston. Great game on Netflix. Will Netflix be able to handle the bandwidth of the NFL? Because the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, they couldn't do any of that. Connors, come on. NFL should stay away from Christmas, right?
Well, at least they're making it the anti-Thanksgiving's games because Thanksgiving football stunk all 3 games. And these 2 games are actually very good games. Pittsburgh coming off a loss can go in and make a statement against KC. And it depends on which Houston team shows up. Sometimes they look great. Sometimes they look like, that they never played before. So we'll see what happens. But I got no problem with the games because otherwise there's like 2 bad bowl games to watch.
Stop that. George, NBA is on Christmas Day. You got to go fight for the NBA. Go ahead and tell the NFL.
Let me explain something to you. The NFL might be the smartest gangsters on the street right now because they know Thanksgiving, there's nothing else on. You're going to be forced to watch whatever games they put on. And they're going to stick with their tradition. Detroit, Dallas are always going to get a game, whatever. But what used to be, if you watch The Wire, I'm coming for your territory for the corner. What used to be the NBA spot. Oh, we're gonna put primetime games on Netflix, so you're gonna have to pay for them. So who NBA what? Who cares about it? Anybody watching it? Nobody's even worried about the NBA till after the Super Bowl anyway. So
hey, the Lakers are going to be on, I'm sure. I don't even know the schedule. But
you know what?
The Lakers are on.
No, you mean the geriatric unit over at Mary Rest Assisted Living.
Oh, what is this? What is this NBA you're talking of?
All right. Thursday night, December 26th, Seattle versus Chicago. That's the type of Thursday night game I was thinking. Y'all were putting on some good ones. Now we got Seattle and Chicago.
Ain't nothing on Thursday. They can put a game like that.
There's the trash that we used to roll it out. And then they got a Saturday triple header. December 27th, Chargers against the Patriots, Broncos against the Bengals, and Cardinals against the Rams. And that game actually will mean something for the Rams. And then, of course, on Sunday, Jets, Buffalo, Green Bay, Minnesota. There's your game, George. Vegas against New Orleans, Carolina against Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Dallas against Philly. Spoiler role, possibly. Yeah. Miami versus Cleveland. That's going to just be really bad. Indiana, the Indianapolis Colts against the Giants, and Atlanta traveling to D.C. Sunday night, national television. And on Monday, what should have been something special, Detroit versus San Francisco. George, anything catch your eye for next week, sir?
Yeah, of course. I want to see that Packers-Vikings game. I'm still pulling for the Pack, but we're gonna see what's up. Both of them get into the playoffs, so it is what it is. We're gonna see how it finishes up. But one interesting one, Saturday's game, Denver and the Bengals. That's gonna be worthwhile because they both still have. I think the Bengals might have been eliminated, but Denver's still in the hunt. So that's gonna be good, and it's gonna be good because the Bengals have no defense. And we're going to see what Denver's defense can do with a red hot Joe Burrow right now. So that and probably the best receiving core outside of I'll even give them they're the better receiving core than Minnesota. So we're going to see how that goes.
All right, Connors, what about you? Anything catch your eye for next week?
There's a couple. The Patriots Chargers I'm intrigued by because the Chargers have been up and down all year, and the Patriots have really been turning it on over the last couple of weeks. So I'm interested to see if they can keep up that streak. Of course, Green Bay, Minnesota, we always talk about the NFC North, always a good game. And I'm wondering if the Dallas Cowboys can come out and play spoiler for Philly, like you said. They got nothing to play for, but maybe they can, pee on the Philadelphia Eagles Wheaties, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm looking at the playoff standings. George, Kansas City looks like they're going to wrap up. Phil, because I would not have played Patrick Mahomes, and apparently high ankle sprains in Kansas City doesn't mean what it means in Maryland. Because a high ankle sprain in Maryland is 2 weeks out, but a high ankle sprain in Kansas City means we're going to like the team up. So
you don't have access to the same resources he has. Okay, so Your high ankle sprain gonna last a whole lot longer.
and for you, George, the Los Angeles Chargers at 6 seed, they're still in the playoffs. So
I know
Will's not here.
them San Diego Superchargers is still hanging, boy. They turned the corner.
They're still there. And the NFC North, Detroit currently is number 1. Minnesota's 5. Green Bay is 6. Good googly goop. I hope Seattle can keep track because the Commanders are already at 10 wins. So, all right, man, we've got something going on. Connors, any last words before we close out, sir?
No, I'd just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and any other holiday people celebrate. I hope they have a wonderful one, and we will see you all soon.
All right, George, go ahead and close us out, counselor.
Happy holidays, everybody, and check on your loved ones, people that you haven't seen in a long time or talked to. Give them a call, check on them, see how it is. This is supposed to be a time of celebration and happiness. Some people just are not in that frame of mind. It's also one of the highest times for people with mental health problems. So check on your people.
All right, that's a great way to end it. So on behalf of our Cavalcade of Stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, and we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.